Greetings, comrades. Shadowslar52 here. Sorry for not uploading for a while. I've been pretty busy. I was making recordings to later upload to my channel. You know, video game playthroughs. No commentary. Okay, now let's get to the point. Okay, last time I told you my opinion on Gang Beasts. So today I'm going to be telling you my opinion on the FNAF musical. The Five Nights at Freddy's musical. Starring Markiplier, Nathan, I forget his last name, AJ, and MatPat, maker of the Five Nights at Freddy's theories. Basically, it starts off with Markiplier being hired as a night guard and getting scared by the animatronics when they're actually friendly, which is surprising to me. Anyways, let's see. When Markiplier shift, he discovers that he still has to do 4 nights, and by the second night he comes back, but he comes back with weapons. You know, machetes, knives, shotguns. He thinks he hears Foxy coming down the corridor, but in reality, he accidentally shot at the night janitor. The police come right at the scene and arrest Markiplier. However, Mark escapes and dyes his hair red as to change his identity. Then the phone guy calls Nate, another old night guard, who decides to retake the job after he realizes that his rent, is almost due, and that he doesn't have the money. So he needs... Again? Okay, and on the third night, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy find a mysterious crate. Bonnie opens it, and then he, Chica, and Freddy argue about whether or not to close it. Bonnie goes back to close it, and whatever inside was gone. Then, of course, Bonnie and Chica were captured. Freddy went to confront Foxy, and then Springtrap showed up, which kind of confused me. Anyways, Springtrap then chased animatronics and almost murdered Nate. He tied up Bonnie and... let me try that again. He tied up Bonnie and stuffed Chica into the puppet's box. The puppet's also in this. Let's see. Of course, Foxy also hid inside of a vent shaft when Springtrap tried to stuff him in a Freddy Fazbear suit. Then Springtrap went after Nate. Freddy tries to save him, but fails. Springtrap almost stuffs Nate's face into the fan, but then the puppet tries to stop him, and the puppet ends up dying. However, Springtrap was knocked unconscious when Foxy came out of that vent. Since Puppet was the only one that could protect them, there was no one left to help stop Springtrap. But Bonnie knew that Markiplier could help. Then, of course, the purple guy, also known as AJ, went over there and saw the green bunny all tied up. Nate warned AJ not to let him loose and to get out. But then he decided a little overtime never hurt. Anyways, Nate and the 4 animatronics went over to Mark's house, where Mark was still suffering from the animatronics and how they made him a wanted criminal. They went inside the animatronics went into his house, hoping that he would be on his side. Meanwhile, Nate was trying to distract Springtrap to keep him from getting out of the building. Ideally with a Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy. One of the most annoying animatronics. All that. So annoying. Anyways, Markiplier freaks out to know that the animatronics are in his room, and he threatens to cut Freddy's head off. And also, Springtrap managed to destroy BB, and then Nate decided to join the party and explain everything. Markiplier didn't want to go, but he needed to if he wanted to prove that he didn't lie to the police. So, he went along with it. Then the 5th night came. Springtrap was distracted, as proved with the hanging BB head. Then, of course, they needed to come up with a strategy. Turns out the Springtrap is made entirely of a special suit called Springlocks, which I think are both suits and robots. I also noticed that there were fire extinguishers all over the building. One of them would have been in the office, only somebody stole it. Then, of course, the animatronics went all over the pizzeria. Bonnie went to the backstage, Freddy went to the stage, Chica went to the kitchen, and Foxy checked the Pirate's Cove for any fire extinguishers. Freddy, Bonnie, and Foxy failed to find said fire extinguishers, but Chica managed to find one. But then, of course, Springtrap came along and almost killed her. Markiplier tied him up. The fire extinguishers all set to go, but then it backfired, and then AJ appeared. Turns out, in that universe, AJ was using Springtrap like a murder gremlin, trying to get Markiplier and Nate fired from the job, all because he wanted more hours. But it turns out, Nate didn't want this job, and as I mentioned earlier, Mark is wanted for attempted murder, so it was a lot simpler than it sounded. Everything seemed okay at the time, but then Phone Guy appeared. Turns out, Phone Guy was really a psychopath trying to get them to turn on each other and kill each other. So he went over there with the interesting weapon to finish the job. The weapon I'm speaking of is part chainsaw, part flamethrower, and he used the chainsaw part to kill AJ. Then, of course, Markiplier released Springtrap onto MatPat, and it set off the flamethrower part of his weapon. The whole place burned down. Then, in the future, we learned that Nate has been living a normal life. Markiplier stole MatPat's fire chainsaw, and the FNAF animatronics were busy making games. Everything seemed okay, except for one thing. MatPat survived the fire, but when the police got to him, they found some discriminating evidence on what was left of those security cameras, and he got sent to jail. But once he got out, they couldn't hide. Basically, overall, I think the FNAF musical was an interesting experience, to say the least. I just wish that the animatronics were actors in costumes and not puppets. That was a massive letdown. I know they probably don't have enough sewing or fabric for that kind of stuff, but you could have at least asked someone. I'm not complaining, just stating a fact. Okay, this was definitely longer than all my other recent videos. I think I'm going to end it here. Make sure to like, comment, rate, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Next time, I'll tell you my opinions on the two Five Nights at Freddy's toy companies, Funko and McFarlane. This is Shadowslar52, signing off.